It's been great. We work very closely together. Um, we started at Compass, I wanna say 2 years ago? Am I 2 years ago? Yeah, we were both at properties before on different teams, and then Danica wanted to venture off and start her own team, and she asked me if I would take a leap of faith and join her, and I did, and it was the best thing ever. So we work very closely together. Some of you know that every time we're on a call together, we go and do meetings together. When you're purchasing and looking for homes, you have the best team possible. Um, I'm a mom. I have an 11-year-old who's soon to be 12, acts like he's 15. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm excited for you guys to learn more today. Again, maybe possibly link up and talk some more after this. So feel free to ask us any questions. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it.
Thank you, Tiff. Yeah, so Tiff has been working with me, like she says, and she is great with buyers. She's great with investors. She's awesome with leasing. So once you get that multi-unit and you want to get some tenants in there, she is your girl. So, and like she says, she's a proud mom. Her son is so cute. All right, Tony.
Hey everybody, my name's Tony Nuccio. I am a mortgage lender. I've been working with Danica and Tiff for a couple years now, several years maybe. We've closed a lot of different types of loans together. Some VA, some FHA, some conventional, single family homes, condos, multi-units, 2 units, 4 units. So we're very well versed. I think together, and especially myself, I really pride myself on really getting creative. And I've found that if somebody's really wanting to buy, even if it's not in the moment that they can do it, we can figure out a way to get you guys into the home. We can figure out a way to get you that starter home or that multi-unit. And, we're good at looking at the whole file. And, if you don't have a lot of money for down payment or your credit score is not that strong, we're very creative. I'm very creative in what I do. So, I welcome everybody to at least see where they stand as far as the lending goes. And that's really, kind of the starting point when you're looking to buy. You got to figure out what you can buy, what you can qualify for. And again, if you can't qualify right at the moment, that's okay, because we'll stick with you and get you to that point and make you a homeowner, whether it's today or tomorrow or a year down the road. In our history together, we've had some really challenging files that you guys have had with other lenders that couldn't do it. And I put my eyes on it and I was able to do it. Not to say that every single time everyone's going to work, but I will exhaust somebody's scenario to figure out a way to try to make it work. And I feel confident that, again, if you're willing and wanting to buy a home, we can figure it out. So that's about it.
Thanks, Tony. Welcome, Eduardo. So yes, Tiff and I can shake our heads and vouch that we had some challenging loans, and Tony came in, made it work, and we got to the closing table and families were happy, including Tiff and her family. And yeah, it's, not every transaction is smooth. Not everyone has 800 credit score. Not everyone has 20% down payment. That's just not reality. We all have real lives. We use credit. We have jobs. We lose jobs. So it's important that you have problem solvers as your team to help you when it comes to real estate. So yeah, very true. Thanks.
And Danica, I think it's also important to get educated, because, a lot of times there's a misconception that I do need a 700 credit score and I do need 20% down. And that is just not the case. Credit scores can really vary. I've worked with some a lot lower than 700s and got them done. People with very little money for a down payment, we've got them done. We have different unique programs. So again, if you're wanting it and willing to, go through the process, I feel very confident we can get you into a home.
Absolutely. Very true. Okay, so I just want to say one more time, and I'll say it a couple of times throughout the call. We're going to get started, and there is a link in the chat. If you can go in there and please fill out that survey, that would be really helpful to see who we have on the call. And if you want to do a free 30-minute consultation in the next coming weeks or months with our team, just put your cell phone in there so that we can text you and schedule time. All right, let's get to it. Next slide. Why house hacking? Okay. For me, one of the most important things on house hacking is it's such a great opportunity to retire early. And when I say retire early, doesn't mean you don't have to work, or doesn't mean that, you know, that you're not making income. What that means for me, retiring early, is that you don't have to work if you don't want to, or you can keep your job or keep your passion and keep your income. But you have this cash flow coming in, and you also have equity building up in these properties. So when you do get older and you really do want to stop working, and you don't have like that consistent money coming in, you have built this out over the years. So it's so important to do that sooner than later, but it's also never too late. House hacking means that you're going to live in the property. So that means that you get the best financing options. When you live in a property, you have lower down payment to little down payment options. And once I go over some of these case studies, you'll see how that's worked for some of my clients and myself. It's also a good way to start learning real estate. A lot of people want to do real estate, are intrigued about real estate. They have no idea where to start. Well, buying a condo or a multi-unit or a townhome or something that you can house hack is a perfect opportunity for you to start understanding real estate, going through the transaction, having the right team, either Airbnb or doing something like that. You know, so you can start learning how to deal with the customer service aspect of it, which a lot of people are fearful of. Like, I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to do Airbnb, or I'm scared. What does that look like? That's the best way for you to get your foot in the door and learn. It's also a smooth transition into start building your rental portfolio. Some people want to own multiple properties, multiple doors. They don't know where to start. Well, if you buy a 2, 3, or 4 unit, you live in one and rent the others. It's such a great opportunity to already have, you know, 2, 3, or 4 doors, learn, you know, how to manage the property, how to, you know, lease the property, and kind of just understand the rental property aspect of it. Next slide. So now we're going to go into a case study. So this is me. This is personally me. So I have 3 units. One is a garden unit. And so when I first bought this property back in 2004, hi, Tyler, welcome. When I first bought this property back in 2004, I lived in the garden unit. And so I lived in the garden unit, and I rented the first floor and the second floor. And the reason why I did that is because, first of all, it was me. I didn't have pets. I didn't have children. I was able to just live in the garden unit. It was a 1-bedroom, 1 bath, and I was able to rent the other 2 units. So number one, I was able to cash flow, and I was able to pay off the loan a lot faster. So I bought a 3 unit for $195. At the time, the rate was $525. 2004, I don't know if you know this, but that was the height of the market. 2004, 5, and 6. And so it needed a little bit of work. So I put about $20,000 in there. The windows were horrible. I redid the floors, paint, put some new cabinetry, you know, fixed a little bit, maybe electrical, plumbing, like little things like that. So I put about $20,000 at that time to get it ready to rent. When I bought the property, I bought it as a FHA. So I utilized FHA, and I'll never forget when I bought it, FHA came back with an inspection issue because there was an oil tank in this property, like one of those old school early 1900s. And it was like, what is this thing still doing here? So they had to do all this stuff to, you know, to take it out, but the owner agreed to it, paid for it, and then FHA came back and passed the FHA inspection. So what's also cool is that I only put 3.5% down. I was really young when I bought this. I didn't have money like that. So 3.5% down was really important for me. Like, what's the minimal I can put down? And because I'm not a veteran and I didn't have a veteran's loan, I had to put something down. but I was able to negotiate concessions. What does that mean? Concessions are closing cost credit. The seller gives you money for some type of cost. So usually towards my closing costs, maybe there was some repairs that the house needed that I negotiated to get. And so I negotiated so many seller concessions that I got almost $5,000 at the closing table. I was telling Tony, I was like, is that still a thing? Tony, do people walk away with?
Yeah, it certainly still can be. If you structure these the right way, and the way to do that is asking for seller concessions, which Danica knows how to do that, how to structure your offer. And what it could ultimately do is getting money back with putting 3.5% down is maybe tough to do, but it really limits your out of pocket. So if we cover all of your closing costs and maybe some of your down payment, and let's just do some easy math. Let's say you're buying a $300,000 place, 3.5% of that is $10,500. Maybe you'll only end up coming to the table with $5,000 or $7,000 with no closing costs, and that's all of your down payment. So there's still certainly ways to do that. There's ways to get lender credits as well. I have one program that you can get a $10,000 credit. So if you got some seller credits, lender credits, it could ultimately minimize like that 3.5% down. Maybe you're only bringing 1% or 2%, and you're talking about buying a multi-unit, cash flowing building as well. So it's pretty crazy with that little amount of money, what you can buy, appreciating asset that's cash flowing.
Yeah. So I got $5,000 back. I'll never forget. I was a baby. I was in my early 20s. And I was like, yes, I got all this money. Of course, I went right back into the house, but it was just so exciting that I got money at the closing.
Good realtor.
I haven't seen that, but I mean, numbers just make sense to my mind. So even as a young person, very new to the business, I just understood use other people's money. Like in my mind, use other people's money. And my dad had properties and he always did seller financing. So it's not like he taught me, I just watched it and it just kind of made sense. So my principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So basically my payment, including taxes and insurance for this 3-unit was $1,582 at the time. And I was getting $1,550 for the first floor and $900 for the top floor. And I was living in the garden unit. So I was cash flowing almost $900 a month. It was insane. It was a really good purchase. And just even think about it, like putting $15,000 out of my pocket, because remember I got $5,000 at the closing. So $15,000 out of my own pocket, which I borrowed from dad because I didn't have that money. So I $868, like it didn't take me long to even recover that money because I was cash flowing. But what I did was I just used that money and kept putting it back into the mortgage. Again, I was young and of course I could have used that money, but I was like, I just want to pay off this mortgage as fast as possible. I thought I paid it off in 7 years, but after I did the calculations, it was really 12 years. Next slide.
Danica, you did mention something worth noting as well is you can receive gifts when you're buying a primary residence, whether it's a 1-unit or 4-unit. So even if you don't have enough for a down payment, it is possible to get a gift from another family member, brother, sister, cousins, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. So like I said, there's ways to get creative and try to figure this out.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I didn't get any gifts to close, but I did need money to rehab. The place needed some work. The tenants that were there that got kicked out just left the place pretty bad. So I needed to put some money in to get it to a place where I could rent it and make the most money at the time that I could afford. So I borrowed money from dad. But yeah, if I needed down payment money, my dad could have given it to me, and that could have been a gift that you can get. So yeah, that's a really good tip. So again, it's never too early to retire. So I don't really want to talk about house hacking, but like let's really compound this. Like I don't know if you guys know about like your whole life insurance and how the wealthy use it to compound interest, and they use it to buy houses, buy cars, no tax. Like just that's the kind of mindset that I want to have here. Like, it's just not one property. Even if you have one property like I did over 19 years, how can you maximize that property or go buy more and have more doors, for example? So I wanted to talk about retirement on top of house hacking, because eventually all of us, if we live long enough, we're going to get older. We want to work less. We want to have less stress, and we want to be able to do what we want with peace and ease. Some of us want to be millionaires. Some of us are good with just having enough to be happy. So retirement is really important, and it should be something that you're always thinking about when you're buying real estate. Just not like your dream home, your dream car. No, like, what am I buying now? How can I be smart and savvy, and how can I maximize that? So house hacking is one way, and then thinking about using house hacking to really fund your retirement. So in 2018, I refinanced. So remember, I paid off the building by like 2016. I refinanced it in 2018, and I pulled out enough money to put into an 80-unit building in Florida. Now that's a 3 to 5 year plan, and my return on investment is 24%. So now I took money from my property, and I'm only paying, at the time I was paying 5.75% interest, but I'm making 24% interest on an 80 unit in Florida. So that's retirement mindset. Then I refinanced again, because in 2021, as you guys know, in 2022, the values went madness, right? Well, the first half of 2022. So I took advantage of like the fact that my property was worth a lot more, and I pulled out even more money at a lower interest rate. So my payments didn't even change as much. And now I already updated one of my units, and then it increased the value, right? And also I pulled out money, and I have enough capital to invest in 5 different investments this year. And so I'm under contract on one property. I'm making an offer on another. So I'm trying to build my portfolio and have more rental incomes. I use the money from this one property to be able to start funding my real estate investment goals for 2023. So that money's in reserve. So every time I make an offer, I'm like, oh, I need 10,000 for this property. I need 30,000. Okay, well, I have it, right? It's not something I have to worry about. But because I'm Danica, I am definitely trying not to use my money at all. I'm trying to get 100% financing in everything that I do. But if for some reason I don't, I have the capital to at least do 5 projects this year. And if I do get 100% financing, I have reserves, because nothing's perfect. Something may come up. And so I have money to make sure the deal gets done and I pay my investors back. So the current value of my property is $395. So I have about $165,000 in equity in it right now. Again, think about retirement. Like, if I don't touch it and I pay this off in the next 20 years, I'll have, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 that I can use to fund my retirement. My loan is at 230, and it's at 4.25% rate. I refinanced and locked that rate because I knew rates were going to go up. So like, let me get the best opportunity I can get. I don't think we're going to get in the 4s ever again. So that's just my opinion. My current rental income is $2,900 now, and my PITI is $1,826. So I am cash flowing about $1,000 a month, but I am rolling that into a whole life insurance. So every step that I take, I'm thinking like, how could I just use this one property? And mind you, I have one property. Like, I know people who do this and have 5, 6, 7 properties. Next slide. Now, enough about boasting about, the house hacking queen here. I do want to share. Oh, wait, I forgot about this part. So if you calculate $2,000 a month, just think about it. If you bought a house, and a 2,000 is very conservative. If you bought a house, let's just say your payment plus taxes and insurance is about $2,000 a month. We can all agree that that's a very conservative number. If you calculate that over 19 years, that's $456,000. I have not paid a mortgage once. So I definitely saved in housing expenses over $456,000 over 19 years. So something to think about. Like, it sounds good when you hear, oh, house hacking, live for free. But when you really think about how you can roll it over into other things and how it can compound over other things, like saving over $500,000 in 19 years is not a bad thing. So I've always had money to travel and do, like, people are like, how do you fund this life? This is how I fund this life. I'm not wealthy by any means, but you can use real estate to really help fund your life or your children's life or your grandchildren's life. It's really such a good tool for wealth building. and also just for today, because I may die tomorrow. So like, you know, I'm building for the future, but I also am thinking about today as well. Next slide. We're going to do a Q&A when we're done. So I'm definitely going to make sure to answer everyone's questions. This is why I just want to dump this information on you. Okay, so we got 2 more case studies and then we'll get to questions. So this is a client of mine named Joe. Joe bought several multi-units, but he wanted to live in a condo. So he bought this 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo in 2020 for $171,000. It's near Pilsen at 3%. 3%. Conventional, he only put 5% down. He came to the closing with only $8,000 because I negotiated to get a lot of money back for closing costs. So he didn't have to come to the table with all the closing costs and the down payment, which I thought was really cool. His PITI, including the association fees, were $1,266. He didn't spend any money to add any value on the property because, as you can see, this is his real condo. It was already move-in ready. He got 2 roommates, and he rent them out for $800 each, and then he lived in the 3rd bedroom. He was cash flowing every month $334. But Joe is doing this again at another condo, and I'm not going to do the numbers on that one, but I just wanted to show you how he did it. Now he's fully renting it, and he's cash flowing almost $1,200 a month, and he's doing this again. So he lives in another 3-bedroom in the South Loop now, and he has 2 tenants in there, and he lives in the 3rd bedroom. So house hacking doesn't always have to be multi-units. So I really wanted to show Joe's example because it's such a perfect example. Now, Joe's near Pilsen, and he's near South Loop. He doesn't want to get into Airbnb, but I tell him all the time, you would be cash flowing $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month if you did Airbnb. So it doesn't always have to be long-term tenants. You can also get short-term tenants depending the area and how much, you know, like if it makes sense. All right, so I'm going to pass this along to Tiff. And Tony, you want to throw in anything in here?
On the conventional side with the 1 bedroom, you know, I think I've told you girls about a program that I have, where the minimum is 3% down. Again, big misconceptions. You have to have 20% or something more substantial. 3% down will do it. And I do have this program where 3% down conventional loan, and you're getting a $6,000 credit as well, which would wipe out your closing costs entirely. So in this situation, this guy would be coming to the table with like $5,500, and possibly even less if you were able to get him some sort of credit too.
Got it. Okay.
So very obtainable. I mean, whether it is a single family conventional loan, multi-unit, FHA, I mean, these I think are a lot more obtainable than people really realize. And I think that's sometimes what keeps people from moving forward or even just like inquiring, because they think like, I don't have $50,000 to put down or $20,000 to put down. So I like these like scenarios where you're showing this guy, you know, put 3% down on 170, or I'm sorry, he put 5% down, but there's definitely options where you could do 3% down.
Yeah, I don't know if at that time that 3% down program existed in 2020. It might have.
It probably did, and maybe that's what he chose to do, and there's some restrictions to some programs and whatnot, but again, I think this is just because maybe not everybody wants to be you know, a landlord or have a multi-unit. So I mean, this is still an investment. I mean, this is an appreciating asset. So, you know, even if you didn't want to rent out rooms or you just wanted to buy your own place as opposed to renting, like, real estate is going to appreciate. So you're paying your mortgage down, your place is going to appreciate, and you would know maybe better than I, but I think you can expect 3 to 5% on the low end each year of appreciation. So, you know, over time, just like your scenario showed where you bought it for $195 and, you know, 15 years later, I forget exactly how long it was later, you've doubled that amount of your home, and that's your money. So, you know, it's always such a much better option than renting. You're paying a mortgage down, you pay this off over time, and it's appreciating.
one thing I want to point out is like 5% of 171 is 8550. So, and you have closing costs in addition to your down payment. So there was no closing costs, plus he saved 550 on the down payment. I mean, just not a bad deal at the end of the day. I think most of us could save about $8,000 to buy a condo if we wanted to, just depending the price point and the location. But if that was the case. All right, next slide. So Tiffany's gonna go over.
Danica, you know what? I'm so sorry. I actually locked in a client 2 days ago. They're buying a place for 185. I got him that 6K credit. He's putting 3% down. I think that's like 5,500, just about what the guy's putting down. So I mean, yeah, he's going to be buying the place for $5,500.
Yeah, not a bad deal at all.
Not at all.
Cyrone is the killer right here. Okay, Tiff, go ahead.
So we have 2 more case studies. I won't keep you guys much longer, so that way you can ask any questions. The first one is Nova, who's a close friend of Danica's. He actually owns a restaurant in, where's his restaurant? In Pilsen. So his 2-flat, he purchased a 2-flat last year in back of the yards. A beautiful 2-flat that was move-in ready, and the price was so ridiculous he had to jump on it. He's living in 1 unit, and we rented out the 2nd unit for him. So he's right now, his first unit is $1,400 that he rented out for, and then he lives in the other unit. He did purchase it for $263, which for a 2-flat at that price is amazing. And then his interest rate was 5.3. It was FHA, so he did have 9% down. So he did bring quite some money to the table. He brought about $28,000 to the table. His mortgage payment is $1,823, but with his rental unit on the first floor, he literally only pays $423 out of pocket. So house hacking doesn't always have to look like you have to cover all your expenses, but he went from $1,800 a month to $400 a month. So he's still saving so much money that he can invest all that other cash into something else. And then we have Cyrone. Sorry, we do not have a photo of his property. It is a Greystone property. It's very beautiful, I promise. It's on the west side of Chicago. It is a 2-flat with a basement unit that he lives in, and we were able to rent the 1st and 2nd floor for him. So Cyrone is a veteran, so he didn't have to bring any money to the table. The VA loan is so amazing. I'm so passionate about this loan, and all VA people who need to take advantage of this. It's just amazing. So he purchased this building for $349. It was newly rehabbed from top to bottom. Everything was brand new. No one lived in there after the rehab, and his interest rate was 4.63. And we asked for closing cost credits and everything. And if I'm not mistaken, and Tony was the loan officer on this one, I believe he walked away with like $3,000, right?
Yeah, VA. So VA, it's very easy to walk away with some money. If you're a veteran and you don't own a home and you have a job, you need to own a home.
Yes.
But yeah, with 0% down, and we find ways to get closing cost credits, it's very likely that you're going to be walking away with some money.
Yes. So this one, his mortgage payment was $2,187. So he rented out the first unit for $1,500 and the second unit for $1,350, which he could have actually rented them both out for $1,500. But he wanted to get someone in there, which is totally fine, but he's still cash flowing $600 or more a month. So that's the beauty of it. And just to kind of piggyback off what Anthony said, was, you know, if you are a VA or if you are a veteran, the VA loan is so amazing. You should definitely take full advantage of it. My first client, who was my boyfriend, or who is my boyfriend, I shouldn't say was, but is my boyfriend. His first purchase was a VA loan. He purchased a 2-unit with a basement that's rentable as well. And so he's house hacking, purchased it for, I don't know, let's say like 360,000. I think it was a little more than that, but he came to the table with 0 down, $10,000 in credits, and still walked away with almost, I want to say about like 5 or 6 grand. So it's definitely, you want to take advantage of this and then take that money and invest it into the property and just, you know, rent it out and back so that you can invest it in more property.
Thank you, Tiff. Yeah, I'll say a little bit more about VA loan. So I don't know if there's any veterans here, but if you are, or if you know any, please have them call us. Like, they
Please.
have to, like, yes, even if they own property already, please have them call us. Because one of the most important things that I learned the last few years working with more veterans, especially because of Tiff boyfriend who's a veteran, he sends us veteran clients, and then working with Tony and him taking on some very difficult scenarios and making it happen because he's just like a VA expert. One thing I learned is that unlike FHA, with a VA loan, you can have more than one property at a time using that loan if you qualify, which is amazing. So no money down one time, no money down 2 times. Like, it's insane how you could just compound that. You know, of course you have to qualify. And like I said, if you want a consultation for any scenario, you can talk to all of us and we can go deeper into where you're at and what your thoughts are, and we can give more information. But I do want to mention that because I think that's such a sweet deal. For FHA, for example, I have a friend here now watching, and she is currently house hacking, but she wants to do her second house hack. But currently she has a FHA loan, and in order to use it again, you have to refinance out of FHA into a conventional loan, which could be a good thing, by the way, because you can get rid of your PMI if your property has increased in value. And then now that you have the conventional loan, you can then get qualified and use FHA again. But with VA, as long as you qualify and the numbers make sense, you could potentially buy multiple units. And Tiffany's boyfriend is a perfect example. We should have put him here as a...
I texted him. He should have been on this call. I don't know.
Anyways, he bought a multi-unit in Forest Park with a VA loan, and he just bought a single family home with a VA loan. So he has 2 VA loans at the same time. So just wanted to mention that. Tony, you want to say anything else before we go to questions?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered it all, and a good amount. So I think I'm good.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I see some hands up. Isali, you have a question? I don't see your face, by the way. Oh my God, no one's on video. What's up? Melissa, Jennifer, Maggie. What? Perla, Julio, Jeremy. Say it. Like, Tyler, I'm calling you guys out.
He's calling everyone out.
Let me see your beautiful faces. Isali, go ahead with your question. You have to unmute yourself, hon. I don't hear you.
No, I don't have a question. I just put that by accident.
That's okay. No worries. Kim, you had your hands up. You have a question?
Kim, you're muted if you are trying to say something. There you go.
I did come off video because I wrap my hair for the evening. I have early mornings, but I just wanted to thank everybody for getting us started. And Nico, well, Anthony, thanks for the invite. This has been very informative. And I see NFMS. I would like to call your name. I think you spoke first and talked about how you had a unit and you lived in the garden apartment. So that's exactly where I'm at with this. I lived in a studio for so long. I almost could probably live in a hut, but my clothes is everywhere. So yeah, I would definitely like to connect with you all. Me and Anthony have had some conversations, and he'll definitely be my to-go man when I get ready. I talked to a very dear friend of his that works with him. So financially, and my credit score, I think I'm right there. I think my mind is just telling me that I need more money, but after listening to this, I might be much closer than I think I am, but it's always good to have more money. I'm the type of person that go on Google and then all of these ridiculous things. It's probably best
Jimmy, you're
that
starting to cut off really badly.
I'm
You're
sorry.
starting to cut off.
Okay, I
It's
said
okay.
I'm the yeah. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the type of person that'll go on Google and put in multi-units in the community that I want to live in, and then all of these people call me back with all of these ridiculous prices, and then in my head, I just say, oh no, I can't do it. But I am a go-getter. I do have a master's in social work, so I am a forceful person, right? So I said, you know what, Kim, stop tripping yourself up with this Google stuff. You just continue to keep yourself in position, and then when you're ready, then call somebody, because what they're saying, like when they call, they're saying ridiculous prices like I need $60,000 down. I don't have that kind of money. Like right now I have 15,000, and not to just put this out there. And then my credit score is at a 670 and it's rising. So I had gave myself
So
a tentative.
with the numbers, I'm sorry to interrupt you. With the numbers that you're saying, what you just shared, it sounds like you can definitely be in a position. And I'm glad you're highlighting this when it comes to down payment and credit score, because a lot of people think, as I said earlier, you need like 800 score, 20% down. And as you can see with these scenarios, no other than Nova, because he owned a restaurant and his DTI, his debt to income ratio due to him being a business owner was high. And in order for him to get his first investment, he had to put a lot more down than usual, but he only put 9%, where, usually people think it's 20%. So
And
yeah, definitely don't need that type of credit and down payment in order to make it work.
Yeah, and that's what I was listening to. And I'm going to be like you. I'm going to stay in the property. And like I said, I could really live in a basement from what I'm used to living in, over the years. I don't need that much space. I'm similar like to you, no children. It's just me, travel girl and save money and then, pay into my IRA. But yeah, just things that you hear when you call, sometimes it could be disheartening because, you're working so hard to do this. And I'm like you when you first started, I don't have a lot of money, but I think I have enough to kind of jump in there and get it started. So thanks so much for everything.
Kim, did you fill out the survey for me?
You know what? I am I'm Zoom savvy, so I don't know what this
Everyone
is.
can try to find the chat. There's like a link in there for the survey here. I'll repost it. And
Okay.
fill out the survey. That would be awesome.
Okay. I just hit
I just reposted it again.
Okay, but how do I get to the chat? And then I'm gonna let somebody else speak. I'm sorry. So you got the phone, you got the camera.
Are you on phone or are you on laptop right now?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
I think if you tap the screen at the bottom, you'll see 3 dots. And if you hit those 3 dots, it'll say chat. I believe that's how you do it with the phone.
So yeah, I did that. And it doesn't have chat. It has settings, activities.
Anthony, we keep calling you Anthony.
There's another box
has
where
your
you,
number. We can just text it to you.
Yeah, and then I'm always in touch with Anthony. He always sends these wonderful emails out, kind of keeping me abreast and inviting me to things. So if you can get that to him, I'll probably email him and he can send it to me.
I'll get everybody in touch.
Okay, and I'm gonna let somebody else talk. Thanks so much. This was so helpful.
Yeah, appreciate you, Jeremy. Hi.
Danica, did you see there is
How's it
comments
going?
and
I didn't see the comments. I'm sorry.
Sandra had a question.
Is there a limit on the amount you can receive as a gift for the down payment? Tony, that's your world. I'm gonna leave that up to you.
No, not really. I'm trying to think in what circumstance. So just be aware that if you're trying to buy an investment property, gifts are not allowed. But in that circumstance, that might be it. Otherwise,
Well, let's clarify. Let's not confuse them, because when you say investment property, this is someone not living in the property.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So that's like you're just buying.
Yeah.
You're not going to live there
property to
whatsoever.
house hack is an investment.
These are all investment purchases, but what I meant is you are not going to be living at that property. So if you're receiving funds to buy a place that you're going to live in, no, there's no cap at what you can receive.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you're going to house hack, remember, one of the house hacking rules is that you live in the property. Now, there are some guidelines with VA and FHA. I think you got to live there 12 months and a day, but that's not always 100% true for every scenario. I know someone who house hacked for 6 months and their job sent them, 20, 30 miles south from where they were living. So they got an approval to then get another multi-unit closer to work. So there are scenarios that are in play where, that's not 100% fact. So what's cool about the house hacking strategy is that you can live in a 4-unit, right? And, minimal money down or no money down, depending, what you qualify for. And then after 6 to 12 months, depending the scenario and your qualifications, you can then rent out your unit or Airbnb your unit and then go buy another one. So that's something that a lot of people are doing today. I've kept one house that I've house hacked all these years. And I lived in it, moved out, lived in another state, moved back in, but I've always utilized this property to like not have to pay any housing expense. So you can grow your portfolio and your doors, as multifamily people say. You can have 4 doors and then another 4 doors and then another 4 doors. And by the time you know it, within 5 years, you can have 18 doors. And then you can go buy your dream home or your condo in the sky and your nice expensive car, and it'll get paid by all this income that's coming in. So whatever works for you, right? Like, I'm happy with the way I have it. I am on the way to purchase my next one. But all these years, I was happy with just this one because it just took care of me the way that you saw. I feel like someone had a question. Cecily, did you put your hand up? No? Sandra? Go ahead, hon. You have a question? Hi.
Hi. Yes. So I just want to go back to anyway, thank you for putting this all together and answering my question. So in regards to the receiving a gift, right? So if you receive a gift as a down payment, but you're not going to use it as your primary residence, is it true, like, you can receive that gift because technically, like, they only look back a couple months, right? So you can receive the gift and then wait. Is that true? Can you do that?
Sneaky, huh?
Yeah, there's always ways, right?
Technically, yes, you are right. If you were looking to do an investment property, a lender will only ask for 2 months worth of bank statements. So, yeah, if you have 2 months worth of bank statements that don't show this large deposit or this large gift, then it would never come up. And again, this is only on an investment property. So if you're thinking really down the line, like, I want to buy an investment property in August, and you received a gift right now, we wouldn't be asking for your bank statement from March. We'd only be asking for like June and July leading up to August.
Right. Okay. That's good to know. I do have another question though. Just because I feel like you guys know my scenario, like, I own my condo. I'm a huge fan of condos. So I feel like if I were to like invest into something, it would probably be into like another condo, just because I don't like dealing with the whole homeowner stuff. So when would be a good time to refinance out of like an FHA to conventional? Like, is there a certain amount of years you have to wait? Is there like a certain amount of time? Like, how is that gonna work?
Sandra, remind me, are you in an FHA loan now?
She is. Yeah, I think she's been there a year and some months already, right?
There's no time frame to
yeah.
refinance out of FHA. You could refinance the next day if you want to, if you qualify, if it made sense. Like,
and you want to refinance out of it just
to use FHA again.
To use FHA again.
Yeah, but you might not even need to. Number one, I wouldn't really want to see you refinance right now out of it, just because your rate will be double or triple what your rate is right now. So if there's a way that we could figure it out without doing that, I would want to explore that.
Okay.
But I mean, you might be able to use a conventional loan and have it work just as well for you or better.
Yes. Yeah, I was just gonna say that. There's 3% down conventional loan options for condos now. And remember, FHA with condos, FHA could be limiting.
Right.
Not with Tony, because he's the spot approval guy. So if anyone's looking to use FHA for a condo, definitely fill out that survey, put your information that you want to talk to us, because there are some limitations with FHA and condos, but not with Tony because he's the man.
You get it
I
done.
know, that's how I got my place.
Yeah, so Sandra is Tiffany's client, used Tony, and we got her into a condo that was not FHA approved. And Tony, being the guy that he is, got a spot approval for FHA, and now she's in the condo. So Sandra, yeah, I think that if you want to rent what you have now and get into another one, you necessarily don't need to go through the whole refinance process because you're buying a condo. I think it makes more sense. Thanks, Eric. We're gonna talk to you soon. Eric's gonna be buying something soon. Thanks for being here. Have fun at work.
Problem. Thank y'all. I'll try.
Thanks for joining.
I hope this was helpful. Talk soon.
It was, yes. I do have to talk to you. I do have more questions now, so I do have to talk to you.
We got you.
Cool.
All right,
Thank
we'll
you.
schedule
Have a
something
good one.
soon. You too. Yeah, Sandra, this is a great time for you to be able to do that. Question, Tony, the 2-1 buy down, that could be for conventional too. It doesn't have to be a government backed up loan. Okay. Yeah,
What
Sandra,
does
we
that mean?
could have a call in the next couple weeks and we could just get more into detail on all the cool things. Maggie, you have a question, hon?
I'll explain later, Sandra.
Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you. It's okay.
I own my house now for 2 years. How do I either refinance or take the equity out to purchase rehabs?
Okay.
How can I purchase rehabs without using the equity?
Financing. So do you have some
Refinance?
built up equity in the home, I would imagine?
Yes.
So there's a way to do it without refinancing. And Sandra, this might be something for you to hear as well, is you could always take out like a home equity line of credit. For a smaller amount, like if you're looking for 10,000, 30,000, 50,000, a smaller amount, so that you don't have to refinance the larger amount what you owe on your home. Home equity line of credit is almost acts like a credit card versus the equity on your home. So you use it when you want to use it. You use what you need to use. If you don't want to use any of it, you don't have to. But when you are ready, it's basically like a credit card against your home. You use that as credit. So that way you keep that low interest rate on the main portion of the loan. And then you're just doing this home equity line of credit with like a small portion, whatever you need to take out for the next place.
Okay, cool. And what do you need to qualify for that?
You need to have equity. I mean, they'll qualify you just like a regular mortgage. Make sure that, you're working, you can afford your home, and you can afford this new loan. It's nothing special, but you still have to go through a approval process. And then you have to make sure that you have equity in your home so that you can borrow this money against that equity. So if you just bought a place last year and you put 5% down, even if your place appreciated 5%, now you have 10%, it probably won't be enough equity for you to like draw on anything substantial.
Okay, now I bought it 2 years ago now, and was through FHA with 3.5%.
Yeah, I mean, you might be nearing that point, and we could talk after this. And the reason I say that is just because things have like boomed over the last 2 years. So there might be some real appreciation in your home, where that creates that opportunity for you to take some out and do it again. Or it doesn't matter what you're looking at, rehabs or a new primary, a new investment. It's, is there going to be money in there for you to do whatever it is you feel like doing? And it's possible with the way things have appreciated over the last 2 years.
So Maggie, also let's definitely have a consultation with all of us, because not only for you to pull out money, whether you decide to refinance, which you shouldn't, with a 3.5%, you want to keep that, but like pulling out equity through, as you said, a home equity line of credit. But I'm also doing buy and hold and rehabs myself right now. And I have a lot of connections with the investor side of things, hard money, portfolio.
That's what he's looking
That's what I'm
for.
looking for.
Yeah. So I don't know if you filled
The
out.
contractor. So
I
he
know,
would
I
be.
remember.
So
I remember, and I would like to connect with him too because I need to know what he's up to because me and a lot of my investors were always looking for contractors because not all of them are good, right? You start working with one, they suck. So, and I can also send you business not only for the investment side, but I may have clients, sellers that need a paint job, that need floor. So I don't know what you do, but let's definitely talk offline. Go on the survey, put your fill out the information, and then put we'll definitely connect. Put your phone number on there.
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Let's have an investor consultation so that I can help you guys set yourself up to start flipping or whatever, your end game is.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sounds like a plan.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Someone else had a question. Someone asked a question. Does all of this work in Indiana? Yes, Denali's, it does actually. It all does work in Indiana. I am not personally licensed in Indiana, but I do have other people that I trust. So if you wanted to buy out there and invest, you and I can still talk and have a consultation to kind of think about a game plan. And then I can connect you with one of my partners in Indiana that can physically go and show you properties because I'm not licensed there yet. I can't legally do that. But I can definitely help you with the game planning and stuff like that. If you wanted a house hack or buy your first property, if you already own property and want to refinance, Tony is licensed, I think, in all states.
No, not all, but
Indiana,
most of the Midwest, Indiana for sure, Wisconsin, everything bordering Illinois, and then a couple random throughout the country.
Yeah. So Tony, if you needed any financing information, Tony is someone that could help.
Love to help. Yep.
Absolutely. I feel like someone else. Cecily, you had a question for me?
Yeah. So going back to what I think Maggie was asking and Anthony, were you talking about a HELOC?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm very kind of like family to Danica, but we haven't seen each other in many years. But I have a home that I inherited. It's a 2-flat. My family live in it, so I'm not making any money off of it. I'm actually losing money because I'm putting money every year. I'm either using savings or money that I'm like putting up and putting away and taking out loans. And I don't owe any money to anybody, just so you know, anymore. But I need to move. I need stuff done to it. I want to get my family out. I want to be able to profit off of the building. I don't want to lose it because it was something that was gifted to me. Make me emotional, but my dad gave it to me, and it's very recent, so it still hurts, and it will always. But I want to keep the house, but I don't want to keep my family there because, as you know,
are you living in it?
No,
I'm now living with my boyfriend. If I can get my out and move into it, and then my goal is to fix it, which I've been doing the last 2 years. I did cementing outside, garage, hardwood floors, gates. I did windows last summer. So every year I try to do at least 2 projects. I have adult kids. I have a grandson. He's 2. I sent a video to Danica, and he was being he was showing the house around. But anyway, so my goal is to pull out money or figure out how to do a HELOC, do something that I'm not paying like a second mortgage. In other words,
Is the mortgage in your name?
it is now. Yes.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
my mom is still on the loan. Like, she's still on title with me.
You're on the mortgage, you're on the title?
I am.
Okay. You know what your rate is?
I've been.
Well, I'm sorry. So better questions. You want to pull money out
if
What is it that
Like,
you're looking to do?
whatever works and whatever's best is what I want to do. Wherever
In what regard? Like lowering your payment, taking money out?
taking money out, I mean, because I don't think I can lower my payment, especially not at the rates that we have currently, and I don't see them going down anytime soon.
More than anything, she needs to stop the bleeding. Like, she's in a situation where she owns a property that can be profitable for her,
Right.
and she's bleeding every month out of her own pocket and with repairs and updates because of the setup. But we can definitely schedule something offline. I'll have Tony on here on the call when we meet, so that he can talk about all the financing aspect of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that's her situation. I think it's more about like stopping the bleeding and making this more of a profitable building versus like sucking from her every month, every year.
Right.
Becoming a financial burden.
Family, but they gotta go.
My sister said, we love family, but they gotta go.
You ain't lying. And
I wish Eric was on this call, because he asked if he could rent to his cousins when I did a consultation with him, and I was like,
yeah,
sure.
It's annoying.
Always better not to have family unless it's absolutely necessary. Of course, we all want to help our family, but sometimes it could be more burdening than not. So yeah, it could be tough.
It is.
I think there was oh, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, so that's my goal. Like, I want to, you know, in the future, within a year, maybe if I'm probably closer to 2 years, to purchasing a second home, and that be for myself.
Right. Yep. That's the game plan.
Yeah.
Well, we're definitely going to do all we can to help you
get
yourself in position. Of course. Thank you for being on this.
Great. Thank
Jeremy,
you.
Jeremy, you have a question before you go?
Perfect timing. First and foremost, yes, Danica and Tiff, to everyone on this call, they are amazing human beings. They connected me and my wife with a beautiful home. So yes, thanks a lot for the information. Yeah, so quick question. I'll be very, very quick. So going back to, I think Danica started having this conversation in regards to house hacking, right? Is there any way, if I wanted to house hack, for me to purchase a property or purchase an investment property, for me not to have to live in it once I purchased it? Is there any way around that part?
No, it is 100%. Yeah, you have to live in property. I think it's 12 months and a day. House hacking works because house hacking means you live in the property, and other people or other scenarios in the property are able to, you know, pay most or all of your overhead expenses. So anyone on this call, you absolutely can buy a condo, single family townhome, or multi-unit residential as an investment property with 20% down. Absolutely, all day, no problem. If you wanted to buy something that needed a lot of work and do a rehab, you know, there's portfolio loans, there's hard money loans, there's so many options, there's construction loans. There's a lot of ways that you can get into a property as an investment. The down payment is just going to be a lot bigger. So it's not that it's impossible, but what's so special about house hacking is the fact that you get to take advantage of these like residential loans, and you're getting to like almost hack the system, right? Little to no money down, but you do have to limit it 12 months and a day. But as we said, you know, if something happens like with your job or something like that, you don't have to live in it as long, depending the scenario. I lost you.
I mean, if you're willing to make like, I won't even say sacrifice, but maybe live somewhere that it's not your 100% end destination in order to set yourself up for a really bright future, I think it makes quite a bit of sense. And what I mean by that is, like, what if you did make that a primary residence for a very short while in time, and then move back to maybe whatever you have or buy something else? And then, you know, what if it's a multi-unit, you live there for a short amount of time, get out of there, rent the place out, and now you have, you know, a cash flowing building that's appreciating for, you know, for the future. So, it might not be where you might want to live for a short term, but if you can make, a small adjustment and live somewhere like that, to buy it as a primary, because there's such big benefits to buy as a primary with like the down payment and the terms, it might be well worth considering.
Also, too, I know that there's a time frame with VA and FHA for a multi-unit, not even a multi-unit, just like any purchase. Like if you were to buy it and close on April 1st, you have X amount of time to move in. So like there might be a tenant in there you have to get rid of or something. Like how many days?
60.
Okay.
When you buy a primary, and I don't want to say anything wrong, but like, nobody's knocking on your door in 4 months to see if you're still living there. Nobody's knocking on your door in 8 months to see if you're still living there. What we look at is like, are you going to make this your primary residence? Yes. You sign something that you're going to live there within the next 60 days. You're going to move in within the next 60 days. Nobody's knocking on your door. But we also really do want that to be the intention, because, if I know that you're not going to live there, I don't really want to do that loan, because I can get in trouble. We can all get in trouble. So nobody's knocking on your door, but at this, so these time frames, is it really 12 months? I don't know. I mean, if something else comes up where you got to get out of there in 8 months, or you're having another baby, you need more space, whatever it is, nobody's knocking on your door to see.
Yeah, no one's policing it, but I mean, you just want to be in integrity, right? Like, yes, I'm going to live there, and you just want to do your best to follow the rules. If you can't, do what you got to do to make it happen. But, we're just going to give you the guidelines and like the expectations, because, Tony, Tiff, and myself, we're licensed individuals, so we have to do things accordingly. So yeah, I mean, if you tell us you're going to live there, we're not going to come knocking at your door. The intention is that you are going to live there, even if you use a 60-day time frame. But as
I lived in my house for 24 years.
You're good.
Good.
You're doing fine.
Good. Just made it.
Jeremy, any other questions?
Yeah, there's another one.
No, I think
sorry,
you
go ahead, Jim.
answer my question. I think that in regards to where I'm at. I think you answered a lot of my other questions in regards to that part about house hacking. And then the other thing is, based on timeline, you have to live there for 12 months. After that, you can kind of do what you want to do with it. Am I right?
You could do whatever you want to do, and you can refinance sooner than the 12 months if you wanted to. Like, let's say you really wanted to get another FHA loan and the rates dropped 1.5. You're like, I'm going to go ahead and refinance this sucker and get, no? Like you can't refinance.
Yeah, but one thing I was saying, and I heard it just kind of being talked about maybe in general, just about interest rates. I do expect that towards the end of this year or into the beginning of next year, that rates will drop. I don't know to exactly what level, but I think there will be a significant reduction. So even if rates might be that deterrent or something that has you guys thinking like, I don't know if this is the right time. If you find the right property, the interest rate shouldn't really scare you away from doing it, because Danica and Tiff are going to make sure like this place makes sense at this interest rate or a lower interest rate. It's going to cash flow. There's going to be benefits. And the gravy on top is I really, really do believe that towards the end of the year, rates will be significantly less. And when that happens, you guys can refinance out of that loan.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like if you go in and you say, okay, my 12 months are going to be done in 6 months and the rates drop, like he said, maybe December or something like that, go ahead and refinance and then use the FHA to do it again if you plan to house hack. If you don't plan to house hack and you might have some equity, then you can use an equity line of credit and then use that as a down payment for a 20% down. There's just so many ways that you can use real estate, right? You just got to get in. Thank you, Matt. You just got to get in and get started. So you can start with FHA or VA, live in there, and then, move out, whatever, however it is. And then after so many years, you got equity. Now pull that out and buy your next one with 20% down and let that fund the next deal. Yeah. I saw her comment. So I know like Cecily, Isali, Maggie, there's several people. Please fill out the survey. fill out the information. Let us know that we'll schedule with you guys for the next few weeks. Everyone has different scenarios. Denali's too. Hold on, I saw something. Thank you, dear.
I just want to say thank you for putting this together. It was extremely informative. I mean, I knew some of this information, but you guys kind of just blew my mind with the opportunities that are available, with little to nothing. It's the way you three put it, basically, it's like, if you want it, there's absolutely no excuses on why you can't take advantage of the opportunity. So
correct.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be talking, Danica.
Oh, I told you we're gonna be talking.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like maybe
Thanks for joining.
Julio's like 4 months, 6 months. No, maybe a year.
It's kind of just like you made it. It's kind of like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be taking advantage of the opportunity.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I know how long you have been at this, so yeah. you was working behind the scenes when you first started. So, I was like, she's doing something, but I don't know what she's doing. I mean, I've known all these years, but it's great to see the opportunity that's available. So I appreciate you.
Of course. Yeah.
And one quick thing on that note is like, yeah, there's no excuse not to, but there's definitely no excuse to like not even take a look at your scenario. And I can take a look at your scenario and say, hey, if we save a little bit more money, if we pay down a credit card, if we work on your credit a little bit, whatever it might be, and I might tell you it's going to take us 3 months, it's going to take us 6 months, it's going to take us 9 months, whatever it is, let's put a plan in place for you guys.
Exactly. That's why I put the survey in there, because it's like, let's just talk to you guys and see where you're at, even if you're not ready now and you need another year or two. What we can provide you is going to set you up better in that next year or two than you trying to figure it out yourself. That's why I'm a big believer in educating my audience, people who follow me, people who trust in me, because there's so much that Tiff, Tony, and I know, because we do this every day. And we can't expect that you guys know that there's all these tips and tricks and opportunities that are available to you that the media is not going to tell you about. They're going to tell you the total opposite. And so I definitely want to bring more empowering information to my community to help you guys use real estate and build wealth. Even if you get 1 3-unit, look what my 3-unit did for me in 19 years. You don't need to have 18 doors. If you want, that's great, but you don't necessarily need to do that to make it work for you.
And Danica, even if it's buying a single unit, I mean,
you saw
that's an investment. Yeah, that's an investment. That's something that's appreciating. Absolutely. You're not, rent, you get $0 back. When you buy even a single unit, you're paying down your principal every year. It's like forced savings. You're building that up, and your home is appreciating. Danica's has doubled in value over these years since she's had it. So, I mean, that's real money. That's a real investment. And there's nothing that grows like real estate as far as an investment goes.
Yeah, even if I paid out of pocket for the first 12 years, what was it, like $1,500? And then now the last few years, I've been paying $1,800. Even if I'm paying out of pocket, I still have a 3-unit for $1,800. Like, what are we talking about, right? Even if I was paying the full amount out of pocket, it was like me and all my family living there. No one pays me a dime, which is unacceptable. But even if that was the case, I still gained $200,000 in equity just by owning it. So yeah, I'm a big believer, like, yeah, house hack, but if house hacking isn't for you, just buy real estate. You can definitely use it for some future retirement. I think Maggie's hand was up. Thank you guys for these awesome questions. You're on mute, Maggie.
I found it. I was looking for the survey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I posted it again so that way people could see it. Definitely fill it out. Only because I want to keep improving on this. I'm going to do this once a month, and I just want to make sure that that we bring the knowledge that most people are kind of concerned now. Is it credit? Is it down payment? Is it, being a landlord? What are the things people are concerned about? So,
yeah, this is a lot of good information that people don't tell you about, or realtors and lenders and contracts or people that don't tell you about.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wanna, that's what I mean. Like even my post on if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I'll put it on here. I should have done this earlier. A lot of people dropped, but I do post a lot of like free educational content on Instagram, tips and things to think about and stuff like that. So definitely follow me on there for more information. Maggie, did you have a question though?
No. I was going to ask you what Jamal had put on there was where to find the survey, but we found it.
Okay, thank you.
That away.
Did we lose Tony? I feel like we lost Tony.
We definitely lost Tony.
Donnie, you got look. Here you go.
Yeah, Jamal, put your information in the survey so we can text you and we can schedule time to chat. And then I'm gonna ask you if you want to text me a picture of that to my cell phone so I could put him in my database as one of my vendors.
Okay, cool.
Christian on here is a contractor too, aren't you, Christian?
Yes, I am.
Representing the contractors, these young men out here doing their thing. I love it.
Okay.
Oh, Tony's back. Tony, we lost you. That's how you feel? You're on mute. This has been so fun. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to be doing this once a month. So you'll probably get a text message from me when I get the next date. And if you can't make it, just share it with someone. Share it with family, friends, coworkers, church family. Jamal, I don't hear you. Are you talking? Because you're on mute. Are you talking? Oh, okay. Yeah, so thanks, Sandra. I didn't know you could send these hearts and stuff. It's so cool. Sister, thank you for being my slideshow. Tiff, Tony, thank you for being my partners and helping me spread this wonderful education. Thank you, everyone, for the questions and all the support. This was a lot of fun. Anyone have any final questions? Did everyone do the survey for me? No? Cool.
Thank you for all the info. It's been very helpful. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. I also put my Instagram.
Oh, sorry.
I will be reaching out. We will set up a date and time to meet because I need it as soon as possible.
Yeah, let's do it.
My process needed to start like 4 years ago.
Send me more video walkthroughs.
Yeah.
That would be really helpful so I could do some comps for you and work out some numbers.
Baby.
My sister said that she'll be your eviction specialist if you want her to help you. Oh, hi, cutie. Welcome. Are you a future GC? What are you doing? What are we doing? A pink hard hat?
The first girl playing the MLB.
That's Jamal's daughter.
Oh, of course, sports. I should have known with you. You have sports aspirations. Thank you, Sandra, Julio, Denali, Tyler, Jennifer, Isali, Christian.
My little kids want to say goodbye.
Oh, look at that pretty dog.
They're a pain in my butt.
Yes.
You all, thank you for staying this long. You have a great evening, and I will send a text message to everyone who wants to schedule with us to get that going. Also, when I have my next event in April, I'll let you guys know so you can either join or share for someone else to join.
Hello.
Definitely. Bye. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
How would you want them to contact you? Tell them to go on. Is Denali still here? Did she leave? Thank you.
Wait, hold on. I will turn.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. I'll message her on Facebook. I'll just tell them.
Hey, Danica.
Hi. You have a question for me?
Sorry I can't turn on my camera right now, but one, you are amazing. I'm so happy I joined this. My boyfriend is here. We're both like just listening to everything, soaking it all in. we are so interested in like having that follow up. I don't know about 30 minutes. I feel like it's more like an hour situation, but I'm sure some.
We're not going to
coffee
cut you off.
would
We're
be
not going to
good.
cut you off at 30 minutes. If you
Yeah.
need time.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know if maybe you can do like a preliminary or something and just kind of let us know what we need to bring in, and or if you do that face to face or if it's just on online, or but just know that we're ready.
Yeah. So the way that I do it, I have an intro call. It takes about 10 minutes or more if you
Okay.
have questions. I just ask a series of questions, and I just kind of get a picture painted of your scenario, what you're trying to do. And then after that intro call, I then have a investor consultation or buyer consultation or seller, if it's a seller consultation.
Yeah.
For about 30 to 45 minutes on
Okay.
usually on here, like on Google Meets. Or if you wanted to come in the office, this is our office here in Bucktown. We also have other offices in, I think, Oak Park. So it just depends. Or we can meet at a restaurant, we can meet at a cafe, or it could just be at the comfort of your home, which most people choose that preference. And, obviously a day and time that you and your boyfriend are together, because if you're both buying together, you're both decision makers. It's important that you're both on the video call. You
Mhm.
also need to be on the intro call. That's just to gather information, get an
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, did you fill out the survey and put yes, and then put your name and phone
Yeah.
number?
Yeah, I
So
did.
I'm going to text everyone that filled that out, and we're going to schedule in the next few weeks free consultations. I'll make sure Tony's on the call too, so that way, like if there's finance questions that I don't know, then Tony can we can just have it all in one setting, and we can kind of talk about a game plan for what you're trying to do and what the next steps would be from there.
Yeah, sounds really good. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you.
Excited too. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining. I so appreciate it. I'm glad
Yeah,
you
I'm
enjoyed
grateful.
it.
It's the right time,
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
I'll
Have a
get
good
out of
night.
here, but thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Anybody else? I didn't see anybody else with any questions. Did you leave?
Tyler's the only one on here. Tyler, are you still there? Can you
Do you
hear?
have any questions? Yeah. He didn't ask any questions.
No. Did you go through all the questions to
I
see?
did.
Okay.
All questions were answered.
Everything was answered. Cool. Tyler, I'll see you in the morning if you're listening to me. I think he's
Right.
checked out. He's just on here.
Yeah. Bad host.
I'm like, I hung up and kicked out Christian, and we're supposed to talk.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I'm back.
I'm gonna kick out Tyler because he's still there. So
Cool.
what you think? What's your feedback? Oh, why am I still recording? Let me stop recording. How do I stop recording? Okay.